Caputo. I'm here with Dave again. We're on our way to the Short Hills Mall, believe it or not, because that's where they store the Polestar lineup. That's the company that works with Volvo, and they're a sister company. They kind of think of themselves as an independent company outside of Volvo, but obviously they're using a lot of Volvo parts, their cars, they're redesigning them, and they're basically making them their own. And currently that's their EV lineup, Volvo's EV lineup, or Polestar EV lineup. Polestar, just a little brief history about Polestar. The way that they began was they used to be a racing company. It was called Flashengineering. There was a driver, a Swedish driver, that raced Volvo cars and in Europe, and they basically would take a Volvo vehicle, everything from their station wagons to their S60s, and basically race them on the track. And they did it very well. And then Volvo obviously noticed that, and they bought the company. So now they changed their name from Flashengineering to Polestar, and then here we are. You know, so many decades later, they're still creating vehicles for and engineering unbelievable vehicles for Volvo. So if you look at them, they look very Volvo-like because they're using their components, their cars, their body styles, and they're redeveloping them and making them even better, just kind of like next level type EV vehicles. There's two vehicles that are out now. One is the Polestar 1, which is their two-door sports sedan. It was their original concept car, and it's basically you know, a limited edition. I don't know exactly how many vehicles they're selling. We'll ask the dealer when we get there, but that is a limited edition. I think it's $150-something thousand vehicle, and hopefully we'll get to drive one. We'll see. But the one that we're really going out to test drive is the Polestar 2, which is their like kind of mini SUV crossover type vehicle. You'll see it. It's kind of like a small husky car, four-door, a hatchback, very unique, very cool looking. So we're gonna go and check that out, and we'll see you in a little bit. Talk to you later. This is Talking with Cars. All right, so we're inside the Polestar 2. We're here with Ulysses from Polestar in the back here. And he's going to be talking to us and kind of walking us through this vehicle and teaching us a little bit more about Polestar. My brother is driving, so I have the ability to give you a point of view video.
So on the Polestar 2, this car, again, originally was a Volvo 40 Series concept car that before when we decided to diverge from Volvo, we took with us in turn, because we knew this car could be a success in its own different way. And so it got new life, some changes, and became the Polestar 2. And on the outside, on the front end, you'll realize it's very similar to the current Volvos on the road.
Yeah, they look very similar. I mean, when you look at it, if you've seen a Volvo, you could recognize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we took our Thor's hammer headlights.
I love those.
From the Volvo.
Yep.
And it's a very shark-like front end. You're gonna make it right here. And with that was on purpose. So all of Polestar's lineup going forward is gonna have. I'm gonna make another right. It's gonna have that shark-like influence, more to be aggressive but at the same time sophisticated. Yeah. So as you know, you go around. In the back, you have our beautiful, almost one and uniform taillights, and with the pilot package, the little sequence, and it just really comes together as an updated design from its original concept, but still staying true to it enough.
Yep.
Where it's a concept car in real life, just like the Polestar was.
Yeah, very nice. Now, in the interior, talk to us a little bit about the infotainment center, because I know this little system right here is new to the Volvo lineup, and I believe this is the technology that they're using on some of their other vehicles too, right?
Yes. Press the little white line on the bottom for me.
That's the home button,
the home
right?
button, yeah. So good to Google. We're the first car to have a completely Android-based system.
Okay.
So it's Android Automotive powered by Google.
Okay.
Out of many different companies, Google chose us to be one of the first to introduce their new OS for automobiles. If you look up on the internet now, many other companies have started signing deals with Google to also use a version of this OS in their
Makes
vehicles.
sense.
But we are the first, us and of course our Volvo counterparts.
Okay.
But also destinations. So, for example, I'm someone who likes to travel. I like to go to things like Baltimore, go to Pennsylvania a lot, go up north, and with those things, when it comes to electric cars, you know, your range. That's always the big issue.
Whoa. This is 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
Yes.
Wow, that really felt good.
Uphill.
That was uphill, by the way, guys. Holy cow, the torque is
I'm gonna
unreal.
make it right up here. And it's
How much horsepower is in this?
408 and almost 500 foot-pounds of torque.
That's insane.
487 to be exact. And that's before the performance upgrade, which is about to release in the United States.
And the performance upgrade, is that going to be like uploaded into the system, or do you have to take the car in?
That's going to be a take the car in update.
Okay.
Here in the States. In Europe it was different, but in the States it's going to be a take the car in update.
Okay.
Just because it's going to be optional. It's not all the cars going to come with it.
You got the Harman Kardon audio system.
Yeah, with the
Which
Plus
is nice.
package, which gives it Plus package gives you a lot of goodies. We'll get to that. And yeah, so with the Plus package, as you said, the Harman Kardon with its air woofer technology, which is something Volvo's been using for the past couple of years. Beautiful panoramic fixed glass roof.
Yeah, I love that.
Which just really lets a lot more light in, and personally for me gives me a little bit more headroom.
It's giving me a school warning in instrument cluster. It says watch for kids. School speed limit. Oh, that's insane.
So being a sister company to the amazing safety company of Volvo, the inventors of the seatbelt. You get the things like road sign information standard with the Polestar 2, where it actually reads the road signs as you're driving to know, change your speed limits. Hey, this one is 45 speed limit because I read the sign. If it's a school zone, if you're in areas like New York City where there's traffic cameras, you can tell you're entering a traffic camera zone. You're gonna make it right up here.
Is that part of the IntelliSafe technology, or is that like part of this entire?
Yes.
Okay. Because my XC90, I believe, has that. Correct?
Yeah, a little bit retuned. Again, we just took it from Volvo.
Sure.
And that's the lovely partnership that we've made with them. Yeah, even though we're not completely part of the company anymore, we still work hand in hand when it comes to safety. We're not going to compromise on it.
Oh, definitely not.
If you even look at the seatbelts on your guys' seatbelts, it says since 1959.
Yep.
Because that's when the seatbelt was invented.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. So
there's your app library.
This is the app library.
You download, you just have a Gmail account, which most people this day and age have. And use that to use the Google Play Store, just like on an Android device. And things like Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Our new edition is Vivaldi, which is a Chrome OS browser, just like Google Chrome. You just tap everything, like tap the radio, tap things like that. How I feel when Polestar was designing the OS, they realized swiping is kind of distracting.
yeah,
And you want your finger to know exactly where you're going to go. So that's how it really takes the thinking aspect out of it. Especially because when you're driving, you don't want to be distracted with your infotainment system. You want to be focused on driving. So knowing exactly where things are and having to swipe for it, I think was what Polestar was going with when they were designing the OS.
Did they make any mention of whether the car's more efficient as far as the battery consumption, whether you're in one pedal mode versus not?
Yes. So to really get that peak 240 miles of range, or 249 with the Plus package, you're going to want to be in one pedal drive.
Okay.
How most EVs work when it comes to regen braking, basically the electric motors are going in reverse when you're braking, which is how the stopping power is happening. And on the Polestar 2, there's actually a little graph right there where it says charge and power.
Yes.
That white line, that's all regen braking. And you actually know when you're on the real brakes, when that white line becomes orange. You're gonna make it right here. Go follow that Hyundai right there.
Does this have wireless charging?
Yeah, well, you get that with the Plus package. You got a wireless charging pad on the left-hand side.
Okay.
And it goes up to 15 watts fast charging.
Wow.
It sounds like a speaker that you're turning on and off or something.
That's really nice. Oh, they have the gold
Stem caps
for the tires. Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight ahead.
Everything goes straight ahead. This is a test drive vehicle. We didn't put them on yet.
Now all these products in here, like this, the feel. I mean, this is all recycled plastic.
Yes.
Interesting.
So it's dashboard and things like that are all recycled materials. Just because, again, Polestar's trying to be the most sustainable as they can.
Right.
For example, like we're proud to say that the cars are made in a gold certified lead facility.
Okay.
Which, if you look up lead certification, just to get the certification period is an enormous task to do, because you have to have so many environmental restrictions and things like that. To get a gold lead certification is a whole nother level.
Okay.
And it's a United States certification.
Okay.
Which is, even though the plant is in China, the fact that plant has a U.S. carbon neutral certification.
It's just more stringent, you know.
It's so much more stringent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a firm ride. Is this? I don't know what the suspension's set at, but it feels like a BMW. Like it's comfortable but firm. Very sporty feeling.
So that's gonna be the Olin's dual valve steering straight.
Right. So that's the Olin system, correct?
Yeah. So
and that's adjustable.
That is manually adjustable. Right now they're set 8 in the front, 8 in the rear, in the middle setting.
Okay.
And basically, you get one free install within the first 6 months from Polestar.
Okay.
So, when you first take delivery, if it's too firm or too soft for you,
you'll adjust it.
You'll adjust, exactly. You're going to make a left here where you guys can switch off.
Right here?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about charging stations and stuff like that. Obviously one of the biggest anxieties that people have is the fact that, I got a 400-mile drive, whether it's from New Jersey to Rhode Island. How do I feel comfortable? Like, what do I need to do to feel comfortable that there's going to be a gas station or a charging station? And how long is it going to take to charge? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. So,
how do I take it out of that iPedal drive?
Go to the little car icon for me.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go on the bottom left, turn off one pedal. We already have creep on, so it's going to drive like a normal car now.
Perfect.
And if you want a more firm steering feel, you can just press firm there if you want. That's how I like driving it.
Yeah.
And then just press the white line again. So, big concern, definitely.
Yeah.
With all EVs, no matter what kind of car it is. And so, Polestar's proud to say that we do have a partnership with Electrify America, where you get 2 years of free charging with any of their stations.
2 years free charging. Well, that's pretty good. That's impressive.
For which type of
Electrify America.
Electrify America, okay. Same one for the Hyundai.
Yeah. So
and how do you find it on here? Is this a little symbol?
Exactly. Here? Press that. That's exactly where I was going with it. So right now we have it set for only fast chargers, but if you actually press the little credit card icon for me right there.
Credit card.
We could actually isolate certain stations. So we could actually click Electrify America.
Where's that?
Well, where you're driving, so it won't let you.
Oh, I see.
It was down here, though.
Right there,
When you were stopped, it was going to let you, then it just immediately grayed out.
Oh, I see.
When you accelerated.
So with that, you click Electrify America, and it'll only isolate everything to Electrify America stations.
Okay.
But again, being the whole Google OS system, again, it's linked with Google.com. So the fact that when there's a new charge station added to Google, hey, there's a new charging station in Paramus Park.
Okay.
It'll get added directly onto Google Maps, which in turn gets added to the car. That's one of the most amazing things about this Google OS, where it's constantly being updated with the Google technology.
Excellent.
And going back to your point about the ride with the Olins. So we got proud to say we're partnering with Olins to the point where we have their dampers on our car.
Okay.
So, and a manually adjustable. So this is a type of suspension you don't see on everyday cars.
No.
You could buy them aftermarket, of course, but they're going to cost a good chunk of money. And even after then, you have to go to a good, tuning shop or a good a good alignment shop, knows how to work on all-ins, and knows how to perfectly tune it to your qualities.
Okay.
And Polestar really takes that from you and just does it himself, because engineer and all that kind of good stuff. And that's what gives you that firm ride, but same supple. But when you hit bumps, it's one and done.
Right.
It doesn't loft, but it also is not beating you up in a way.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like I mean, it is a stiffer ride, definitely. But I don't feel like it's uncomfortable or it's abrupt or anything like that. I mean, there are cars out there that I've driven, and they could be something like an Audi or like a sport Audi or a sport BMW, where you really feel every bump. But that's I mean, the reason why they do that is they want you to feel it. They want you to feel like the road, the steering, everything, that they want to give you that feedback. But where here it's kind of a little bit of both. You still have that feedback, you still feel like you're driving, because this is all electronic
steering and
electronic steering, electronic accelerator, everything. So what you're feeling is really the car hitting the road, right? That's all you're feeling. Okay.
Again, I am
Here, let's do this.
6 foot, 320 pounds, and I'm in the back seat of a sedan right now.
Okay.
So to that point, it's just they really made it as going to be like an all-around car. Impressive, yeah, right there. So you're not isolated, all electrified America stations in the area.
Okay, so 20 minutes away, there's at least 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these Electrify Americas.
Exactly, and it even tells you how many stations are there. So, for example, in Newark, there's 7 stations.
Really?
That are all very fast. They're all superchargers. For example, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, there's over 30 Electrify America stations.
Really? Wow.
It all depends on where you get there, but in less than 45 minutes or less, I should say, you will have an 80% charge. It all depends on what you get there with.
Okay.
Because remember, this Polestar 2 supports 155 kilowatt supercharging.
Okay.
Up until 50%, and then it slowly starts slowing down.
Okay.
Until you get to 80, which then it trickle charges, like every other EV.
Exactly. Even if you're on a supercharger, you can get up to 50% in how quickly you said?
80%.
80%.
In less than 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay. All right.
Which the average American stop is 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay.
The average American stop. Because most people, especially on a road trip or things like that, they stop put the pump in, walk into the Wawa, the Sheets, the Love station, get their coffee, get their snacks, maybe buy a scratcher, and then by the time they get out, it's been half an hour.
Yeah. I love the future of these cars. I'm looking at all the concept vehicles that they're coming out with, like the Polestar, the Polestar 3, the 4, the 5, which is like the 4-door. I think that's the saloon, right?
That's the Precept.
That's the Precept. So that's a pretty incredible looking car. I mean, the design alone, I think, is very impressive. Just the thought process. Whenever I listen to the main designer for Polestar, I'm always very impressed with his thought process and how he approaches, the design processes and everything. So, yeah, I'm impressed so far, no question about it. I mean, it's just the fit and finish of this car is really nice, very quiet.
Of course.
And I'm familiar with Volvo cars, so all these buttons and everything, they look very familiar to me. So I guess I'm a little biased that way, But yeah, the GPS system is really nice, very smooth, right?
It's Google Maps just like on your phone. There's literally no difference.
Now, I guess one of the things that I'm a little concerned about with these EV vehicles is these screens are very beautiful, they're nice, but what if there was a problem with with it? I mean, just like a phone, if there was an issue or a cracked screen, I mean, are these replaceable?
Yeah,
they
definitely. Not by you personally. You have to go to a Polestar certified service center, which currently are Volvo centers.
Okay.
So eventually, as the years go on, we're going to open Polestar centers. But for now, we're really going to lean on that Volvo network.
Now I noticed that these have backup alarms. Do they all have backup alarms?
Yeah, most EVs are supposed to.
Okay.
If not all, by just a federal mandate.
Interesting.
For example, also, the car, when you're going forward, makes a noise as well.
Oh, it does.
But it's very subtle. Alright, that should be all good there. And press P.
And,
all right, here we go.
Well, thanks, Ulysses. I appreciate the time and all that, and talking about the Polestar brand. And this is really an impressive vehicle. I do like it a lot, and I think my brother can probably attest to that too. You know,
Yeah,
I know he picked up the Ioniq 5 already.
I did. I decided on rear-wheel drive.
But the Polestar is definitely a very nice vehicle. Oh yeah, you can see the reflection of the Polestar.
Oh,
And
wow.
that branding, that's
I'm gonna put my hand there just to block the reflection, but you can. Yeah, that's pretty.
that's
neat
pretty
looking,
impressive. At night, that's very noticeable.
So can you see it from the outside too?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
And what does that represent?
That's our guiding star. So, Polestar is a combination of pole position in the north guiding star, and that's been our logo since the name was made.
Nice.
And we've carried it over, of course. It's just to always remind ourselves that if you know it's just pointing forward or north, just because that's the direction we always want to be moving.
Well, it makes perfect sense. EVs are the future. I mean, I know I'm an old school car guy, and I kind of love the petrol cars and gas cars and the sound and the smell. But you know what? The reality is this is the future. No question about it. I mean, the future of luxury, the future of premium, the future of all that is in EVs. No question about it. So I think the technology, the design, the research and development is all going towards EVs. So I think we need to accept it as a society that's the future.
We used to race around RC cars growing up, so if anything, we're just going back to our childhood.
Yeah, right. Like just big, huge RC cars. Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, it's one of the pillars of Polestar.
Yeah.
When we became an EV company, it's pure, electric, progressive. It's still pushing the boundaries of technology, but in a way where it's still
It's
in a
still
way where
fun
people
and
understand fun and everything, and then performance. Because
very cool.
electric is the new performance.
Absolutely, that's well said. Thanks, Ulysses. I appreciate it so much. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
All right. All right. Well, we're done with the test drive of the Polestar 2. Dave and I have just been talking the last couple minutes about the car and kind of given some specs that we didn't really give. I think we didn't give, but anyway, the range of the vehicles between 249 and 270 miles, depending on which version of the car you get, whether it's a single motor or dual motor. It's 408 horsepower for the dual motor, 300 kilowatts, or 487 foot-pounds of torque, which is pretty high. I mean, that's a lot of torque. And I think what that does is it kind of sacrifices a little bit in the range. There is a lot of power going to those motors to run them. I mean, it's a, what did I say, 78 kilowatt battery pack, which is a little bit more than the Ioniq 5, but there's less of a drive range, right? Because the Ioniq 5, you can go how many miles?
With the single motor, it's 303 estimated, I believe, miles, and the other one with the all-wheel drive is closer to 259. So
right.
In all, it seems like even with a smaller battery, you can get longer range.
Right, and it might be because of the weight of the vehicle. I mean, it is a little bit of a heavier car, and there's more power going to the motors. It's a 487 foot-pounds of torque. That's a lot of power to drive. But overall, I think the car is an excellent vehicle. I like the Polestar brand. I like what they did by using, the Volvo parts and the Thor hammer lighting and all that kind of stuff. The animated lights is pretty ingenious. That's really cool looking. Everything about it is really nice. The fit and finish is high quality, of course. Everything in the interior is recyclable to a degree, which is something that I think all new vehicles are trying to accomplish. With vegan leathers and different types of materials that they're looking to use, recycled materials. So that's just something that, obviously sustainability is very important, and just doing everything you can to kind of save the planet. So anyway, so I thought it was a pretty nice vehicle. The interior, Dave, you had something to say about the interior
Yeah, I
a
just
little
wanted
bit?
to mention, so even though this is an electric car, you know, they decided to go more traditional. You feel like you're in a cockpit. It has a large center console where on your in the middle.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a cockpit feel, you know?
Yeah. So it's not uncomfortable, but it definitely doesn't have the space that you might think that electric car might have, because, you know. But they decided to go more traditional on that, which it's a more sporty car. It's comfortable though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, very comfortable.
But the fit and finish is also very good on that car. We didn't see anything on that car that worried us as far as quality and fit and finish, things like that. Panel gaps.
Yeah, no. Different material types, you know, and all kind of using it in a very, very good, you know, aesthetically pleasing way. So I mean, they always did a really good job. Volvo has already, you know, has done a good job, and I think Polestar has taken, you know, a lot of the engineering and research and development with them. So yeah, no. So final thoughts. I think it's an excellent vehicle. I think it's a great car, great option. So I would definitely consider that as one of the EV vehicles you should be looking at. So with that, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.